In what is considered a history-making moment, the United Nations top court has handed down an advisory opinion on what countries are legally required to do to fight climate change. While it's not binding, the legal opinion requested by the UN General Assembly is expected to influence legal decisions in countries around the world. The CBC's Crystal Gumansing has been following the story for us. So, Crystal, what have you heard?
Well, Arthi, we heard several hours of explanation as to why the judges that make up the International Court of Justice in The Hague came to the decision that they did on this advisory decision. As you mentioned, it was the UN General Assembly back in 2023 that requested the top court come up with a decision and render an opinion here. And the court today said that while this opinion, they have jurisdiction to offer this opinion. That was unanimous for all of the judges. They said that most of what is already on the books lays out the questions that were put before this court, and that were specifically what are the obligations for nations to protect the climate and address climate change, and what consequences may those nations face if they don't do so. And the ICJ really laid out the fact that the signatories of those for the Paris Climate Agreement, the Tokyo Protocol, and the UN framework on the protection of the climate really already has all the legally binding requirements in it. And the ICJ really leaned on those agreements that are already on the book, saying, yes, countries who are a part of any of those agreements have legal obligations to limit the effects of climate, to limit the rise of the global temperature, to address with each other their obligations from one state of another. And was specifically when it came to the issue of what are the consequences, what are, potentially are they at risk for if they break those obligations? Well, the court clearly stated that countries that break those obligations could be responsible for reparations to restore the environment, but only if the cause and the injury can be clearly stated. Now, as a part of this very long and detailed opinion decision, the judge also made a point of saying that while there is a legal aspect to these questions, it is much bigger than that, saying that these are issues of planetary proportions and that for a resolution of this problem, it is not only daunting, but self-inflicted. And the problem really requires considerable contributions from all fields of human knowledge, that human wisdom will be needed to address the problems of climate change. So a very long, very detailed advisory opinion that really does restate all of the obligations already on the books for all these climate-related agreements.
The court notes that the consequences of climate change are severe and far-reaching. They affect both natural ecosystems and human populations. These consequences underscore the urgent and existential threat posed by climate change.
So the judge there, Arthi, really restating the fact that the harms of climate change, the implications of climate change, well known, well documented, and they were using a lot of what's already known to come to the decision today.
And Crystal, you mentioned that it's not binding. So what is it then that those who brought this forward hope to accomplish?
Well, it really came down to the authority of this court. It is the UN's world's top court. This group took together all of the information that is available, and countries, including Vanuatu, which was the original country to bring this issue to the UN, says that it really looks at this as a game changer, that the decision can be used in future legal cases when it comes to cases that are related to one state or state to state, and that this gives them more power. And Arthi, we are seeing more and more legal challenges when it comes to climate change and their effects on human health and human rights.
Thanks for this, Crystal. That is the CBC's Crystal Gumansing in London.